Hey man, Charleston White looks like the karma done came back to bite him in the ass, bro. The interviews that he has done where he would disrespect people who have passed away, whether it be the Nipsey Hussles, the King Von, etc. I think all of that karma is finally catching up to him, man, and it's sad. I ain't gonna say finally because I feel like that makes it seem like I want this to happen to him, but karma, it definitely comes full circle. If you don't know, Charleston White has recently been booked on aggravated assault charges. Look at the mugshot. He has been found on 2 counts of aggravated assault. 2 counts! Now, a lot of people are saying that, and not just a lot of people are saying this for no reason, but Hustle Gang Cartel, which is another social media influencer, would have something to do with it, because Hustle Gang basically said, like, look, I'm the person who was able to get Charleston White, the invincible Charleston White, in jail, and arrested and in jail. This is actually crazy out here, bro. I watch some of Charleston White's content. I don't watch the 20v1s because that's a waste of time. That's brain rot that I could care less about. But I do watch a lot of his interviews where he talks about black people specifically. Charleston White, he's very hard on the black community. 9 times out of 10, the thing that he talks about in his interviews or on these podcasts are things that are going to make black people look bad. And we all know that we have our flaws, just like the next person, just like the next group of people or race of people. So how can you just point at black people specifically and chastise us about what's going on that's negative in our community? But on the flip side, I got to give Charleston White his flowers because he is the traditional, or he started off as the traditional activist, meaning he did the food drives, he made barbecues, he would do the book bag drives where he would give kids materials to go back to school. That approach didn't get him anywhere in social media, so he had to change up his whole image and make himself into this savage by disrespecting a bunch of the people that the average person is not going to disrespect, especially dead people. I remember there was an interview where he went on to talk about how Nipsey Hussle was a gangster and he did this, that, and the third. So he ended it by saying, "Yo, F Nipsey Hussle."
Y'all, fuck Nipsey Hussle. You can't do nothing about it. That nigga kicked Nipsey Hussle in the head.
But then he covered his tracks by saying the person that Nipsey Hussle was on the inside, like past Nipsey Hussle, past the nickname, is who Nipsey Hussle should be remembered as, not as a gang member.
When I went to Nipsey's funeral, that's when that concept hit me. Because I never heard nobody speak on Nip. They was talking about a guy by the name of Irvis, and who Irvis was. So I'm watching people speak over a dead body, and they were saying that's Irvis, but they were playing Nipsey Hussle's music. So everybody who was listening to Nipsey Hussle music was kind of celebrating the memorial.
He gives you the shock value. He'd say the most outlandish stuff, but I guess he has somewhat of a good intention behind it. Sometimes the things that you say can't be taken back. There are going to be people out there that are looking at you and who are directly impacted by what you said about some people that they loved or you acted toward people that they love. I mean, when you put that type of energy in the air, it's destined to come back to you. It looks like Charleston White's karma is coming back to him. It's so sad to see because I feel like Charleston White was finally on this trail to becoming not only, he's a great influencer, he's a great entertainer, but I look at him as a halfway activist. Someone who really put in work in the community, right? But the reason why I call him a halfway activist is because it almost feels as if all the work that he's doing to build the black community, he kind of reverses that work by talking crap about us in the media, almost as if he's playing a role to satisfy everyone outside of the black community, if that makes sense. I know we have the OGs in our community. We all know somebody like Charleston White. Let's be honest. That's why everyone calls him Unc. We all had that uncle at the cookout or at the barbecue that's always talking shit about people. You talk about somebody in a wheelchair, somebody that just passed away, he don't give a damn. Once he get 2 or 3 beers in the system, he gonna talk shit about whoever he wants to because that's just what they do. So I'm not upset at Charleston White for being critical or hypercritical of people and their faults, but I just feel like there's really no empathy in the way that Charleston White talks, man. It's just the shock value is something that's heavily rewarded in the entertainment, the influencer community, but it does have real consequence. It does have real emotional attachments to it, whether it be Charleston White or the people that he's talking about. It's just sad to see him in this position because he's an advocate for the youth staying out of jail for stupid reasons, and he actually had a troubled childhood, and he talks about it a lot in his interviews, bro. I mean, I watch a lot of them, and I understand where you're coming from, but there's also like this alter ego to Charleston White. It's like the hood is, you could take somebody out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them. And it's just like that ignorance or that hostility that he has towards people, it just spews out. It's almost like Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. He, with all of his heart, hates black people. Bruh, he hates black people. All of that hate that's built up inside of his body, it just gets spewed out whenever he has an interaction with Riley and Huey or Pops. You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he feels like they're family. He treats them as family, even though he doesn't want to admit it. He looks at them as friends, and those are his people. That's Charleston White. That's his relationship with black people. He looks at all of us as a community. To be honest, he loves being black. We understand that from the rhetoric that he speaks in his podcast, but then in another video, he could talk about how black people are the worst thing to happen, or we don't deserve this, or we don't deserve that, and then he criticizes a lot of the black leaders. So he leaves me to feeling a lot of blanks about him as a character, and it's hard for me to decipher between what's real and what's for content with Charleston White. That's my biggest issue with him. But to see him locked up, man, it hurts, bro. It's like another one bites the dust. I always compare Kanye West and Charleston White together. I would say that Charleston White is what Kanye West would be if Kanye West didn't have as much money as he did have. Because Kanye West is a shock value based influencer or entertainer. And we know this because of when back in the day when Kanye West said George Bush doesn't like black people. I mean, which he's speaking facts. But even now he's coming out with these shirts with the Nazi symbol, the swastikas and all that other shit on it. What other reason could you be putting out a shirt with a swastika on it other than shock value? We know you're not a hateful person. We know that you're not racist, but that shit is unacceptable regardless of how you look at it. But Charleston White does the same thing, but at a lower tone. He does it against black people. Kanye West did it against black people. He did it against Jewish people. He did it against white people. So he's more versatile when it comes to his aggressiveness. But when it comes to black people specifically, Charleston White hones in on it. But he also balances it out by doing the fundraisers and I mean, it's a mind F up, man. I'm really confused on how to feel about Charleston White at this point in my life. I can't lie to y'all, man. I went through my little loophole of watching Charleston White because if you watch any of his interviews, he's very smart. He's very articulate. He brings up very valid points about black people. I remember in one of his recent interviews, I can't remember who it was with, but he said something that made so much sense to where like black people, we don't work together. We don't work now. That's very general, but for Charleston White to say black people don't work together, and then he gave some tips and tricks on how we could build each other up, or he really denounced the gangster persona of a lot of these rappers, and a lot of my they're not brave enough to do that. They said Charleston White would get touched if he said anything about King Von. What did Charleston White do?
Hey, Charleston, man, I just want to say, keep Von name out your mouth.
You say keep Von name out my mouth?
Yeah, keep Von name out your mouth.
And if I don't, what's gonna happen?
We gonna pull up.
Y'all,
God
hold on,
damn.
listen. Hold on, listen.
Keep Von name in your mouth.
Hey, listen.
Keep Von name in your mouth.
Von. King Von. Yeah.
You said what?
King Von.
Alright, man. So
Dead,
don't come to Chicago.
dead.
Don't come to Chicago.
No, you said y'all would go pull up. You said if I didn't keep if I didn't keep his name out of my mouth that y'all was gonna pull up.
But you dissing on Von all the way in Texas.
Von. And hey, listen to this. And his mama too. Yeah. King Von mama too.
They said that Charleston White would get messed up if he talked about Nipsey Hussle. He said, F the gangster persona, man. I don't care about no Nipsey Hussle. So I salute you in that respect because you're doing something as a former gang member that a lot of former gang members don't do or we don't see a lot of. And the youth, especially black teenage kids, they following after these rappers who are talking about shit that shouldn't be talked about and shouldn't be pursued by anyone. For Charleston White to step up and denounce the Crip gang, it's like, man, what more can we ask of you as a former gang member? We can't ask more of you, but we still getting more and more from you. So Charleston White, man, it sucks to see that you in jail right now, but bro, you kind of got to learn that what you say on the internet, although you may have good intentions in the end, it's the front part of what you say that really gets you back in that karmic battle. You get what I'm saying? Because you can't just go out there and say, F these little kids, right? And then expect nothing bad to happen to you because of what you say after you said F them little kids. That's not how it works at all, bro. You just be out here talking, man. Jesus, bro. I don't understand it sometimes, man. I don't understand it, bro. But hopefully Hustle Gang, Cartel, and Charleston White can get through what they got to go through. I don't know how to feel about this. We're gonna have to wait to see. I know Say Cheese is sick right now, bro. It seemed like every other week we saw a new Say Cheese interview with Charleston White and my man from Say Cheese. I don't know my man's name, but to see Charleston White in a recent mugshot just threw me for a loop. I couldn't believe that it was real, man. I couldn't believe that it was real. It almost feels a bit hypocritical of Charleston White because it's, again, although you can coach people, you can teach them, but it doesn't really matter until you start practicing those teachings. You get what I'm saying? You got to practice what you preach. And as of right now, I don't think Charleston White was doing that. Hence the nigga in jail. But look, man, that's the end of my talk, bro. I don't know, man. I just had to speak on Charleston White's behalf. I hope that he gets out. But, man, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below of what I should talk about next. And until next time, make sure to lay yourself for nobody with your peace. It's Ingris. Boop.